So with EAFC 24 on the way, today I wanted to kick off our look ahead season with, I guess, a tactics wish list for EAFC 24. Today I have for you 5 really huge, really exciting features that I want to see implemented into EA Sports FC 24 for the custom tactics section. These will range from the likes of formations and set pieces to simply working instructions. So without further ado, roll the intro and let's get into it. So make sure you guys are letting me know in the comments section down below what you would like to see implemented into EAFC for 24. I really will appreciate that. For me, we are going to kick off this list with number 1, and that is fluid formations. For those of you who don't know what fluid formations are, the best way to show you is really to have a look at PES. This is a feature that has been in PES Tactics for quite a while now, and it is an absolute game changer. It allows you to set the formation of your team both in defense and in attack. So when you have possession and when you don't have possession. What this does, it means that you can change the formation depending when you don't have the ball and when you do have the ball, and it is absolutely tremendous. Now, lots of you have been asking me to replicate Pep Guardiola's Manchester City tactics this season, the one in which they play this kind of 3-4-3 system where John Stones steps up from centre-back into central midfield when they have possession. And I'm trying to tell people it just can't be done in FIFA. It cannot be done. However, if it was in PES and we had fluid formations, it absolutely could. As you can see here, we can set him to be in centre-back. When they don't have possession, you can have a simple kind of 4-3-3. But when they do have possession, we can move him up to midfield, and what will then happen in the gameplay is that he will push himself into midfield and take up that position. This is a fantastic feature that allows for the most innovative of tactics and really is a must-have, and the fact that we don't have it in FIFA so far has been a real disappointment, considering that it is a feature that has worked out so well in Pro Evolution Soccer. Number 2 on this list is perhaps not so much a wish for a feature, but something that is absolutely the most important of all, and that is working instructions. Why is it that when I set my keeper to go on sweeper keeper, he doesn't sweep? Or when I set my defensive midfielders to man mark, they will drop their marking duties whenever the opposition reach into the 18-yard box? Why is it that when I set my centre-backs to join the attack, they don't, join the attack? These are fundamental issues with custom tactics, and the fact that we have some instructions that don't work and just haven't worked since these custom tactics of player instructions have been introduced is pretty laughable, I'll be honest with you. As a result, we've got to change this ahead of EAFC 24. Please, can we just have working instructions so that I don't have to kind of pussyfoot around whenever I'm trying to create a tactic with these specific instructions in mind? As I say, it's perhaps the most boring of the suggestions we have in this video, but the most important, without a doubt. Number 3 on this list is a set piece creator. Yes, a feature that it used to have, which we no longer have for some reason, that hopefully will be reintroduced, and then EA can say, look at this brand new fantastic feature that we have introduced for this game, when really they've just rehashed a feature that they originally removed that people like. For those of you who want to see a set piece creator in FIFA in action more, go and check out this video here in which I go through the FIFA 10 set piece creator as part of my retro FIFA series, which I think you guys really enjoy. I had an absolute blast doing it. It allowed us ultimate freedom to create whichever type of set piece we liked. In that video, for example, I created a love train where we had 4 players in a row and they all diverged their runs towards the back and the front post, and it created a really successful corner routine. On FIFA 23 currently, the only way we have any control over our set pieces is one, in the custom tactics you can select how many players get in and out of the box for free kicks and corners. However, you don't get to choose who goes in the box, so sometimes some of your biggest aerial threats are staying back for some reason. And then we also have these D-pad instructions that come into place for corners as well, but they just don't work. If you select one that will get runners to go to the near post, they just won't do it. So for me, it is an absolute nailed on request that I want this feature back, a set piece creator for EAFC 24. Not only does it give you the most freedom with regards to creating routines and setting your own routines for set pieces, but it also is going to allow you to put whoever you want into the box and choose who you want in and out of the box and in those set piece situations. The fourth feature I am looking for on this list is an instigate press line. What I'm looking for here is something similar to the bars that we have now from 1 to 100, where you can set the line. You can do that with the depth, for example. I'm looking for something to integrate into this with a pressing line, in which 100 will be at the top end of the pitch, 1 will be at the bottom end of the pitch, and whenever the opposition reach that line that you have set with the ball, then that's when it will instigate the press that you have chosen. You can actually merge this with defensive style, so if you've got constant pressure, when the opposition reach that line, say you've set it to the halfway line, once they surpass the halfway line and you have constant pressure on, then they're going to relentlessly press within your own half. Or let's say, for example, you have press on heavy touch. Whenever the opposition start playing themselves into trouble, that's when the opposition or your team will instigate their press. This could be a really effective one, because how often do you see teams just occasionally instigate presses based on where the opposition are on the pitch, or whether or not maybe their striker has started to press and then the whole unit goes with him? That's what I'm looking for here. More control and more freedom over when and if your team presses the ball. Fifth and finally on this list, which kind of links into the last one, I want a expanded defensive style so that you can have ultra man marking or ultra zonal orientated systems. For example, currently we can only set one position to man mark, and that is the defensive midfield. Likewise, we can only set the defensive midfielder to have a more zonally lane orientated approach. So that's the only way you can get a man or lane orientated press. But for the rest of the team, you can't do that. It has no bearing. If you want to emulate a system like, say, Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds, for example, an extreme man-marking system where you would see centre-backs follow the striker for 20-30 yards out of position because they are set to man-mark that specific player, you just can't do it. What I'm looking for is a feature in which will allow us to set this kind of ultra man marking or ultra zonal orientated system. There are two ways they could implement this. One is to make it so that every player in the player instructions has a man mark or lane orientated instruction, just like what defensive midfielders have. So therefore you could set the entire team to man mark the closest player to them, or you could do it in the tactical instruction screen where you could have kind of a toggle to indicate whether or not you want a man-to-man or a zonal orientated system, or maybe a balance of both. Again, this ultimately just gives you more freedom over the way in which your team defends, and most of all, really allows you to have that man or zonal orientated system, which I've tried to implement throughout all of the systems we've done in FIFA, but ultimately it's just not possible when the only way you can change it is to have your defensive midfielders man mark or zonal orientated press, and you can't do much more with any of the other positions. So those are just 5 suggestions for new features that I want to see to custom tactics. What do you guys want? Is there anything that I've left out that you think could be really good additions? Please let me know in the comment section down below, because I would like to do another video in the future as to your suggestions and whether or not there's anything that I may have missed out. So please do let me know. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notifications every time I upload, and check out my Patreon. The link to that is down below. Lots of fantastic perks and rewards on there. With that being said, we're going to round it off there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until the next time, I will see you soon.